your message which came to us through revelations. We conveyed them. So, if they have done so, they have done their duty. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. There's no duty or responsibility on us except to convey, but convey clearly. There should be no ambiguity. The message should be conveyed absolutely clear. Now this thing we find about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also. We find in the last part of Surah Bani Israel, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا مُبَشِّرًا وَنَذِيرًا. We have not sent you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but as a bearer of the glad tidings and as a warner. And then we find, a very profound ayah in Surah Ahzab. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu inna arsalnaka shahidan wa mubashiran wa naziran wa da'iyan ila Allahi bi iznihi wa sirajan munira. But all these positions or aspects of the advent of the prophets were common between Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the other prophets and messengers. This is shared by all equally. But Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not only a prophet. He was the last prophet, the seal of prophets. He was not only a messenger, last messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ar-Rasulul Kamil. Now we are under a very limited notion of Khatm Nabuwah. This finality of prophethood has two aspects. One is commonly known, very clear. And it has a legal connotation, a legal bearing. What is that aspect which is commonly known? After Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no prophet has come, nor he will come till the doomsday. What's the legal bearing? Whosoever claimed to be a prophet, he was an impostor, a dajjal, a liar. He himself went outside the pale of Islam, and whosoever believed in him, he also became a non-Muslim. He went out of the folds of the Muslim Ummah. This is the legal and constitutional issue. No prophet after him, no messenger after him. So this aspect was definitely made absolutely clear by ulama, because this has a legal bearing as to whether somebody, if he claims to be a prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or some people, if they believe in him, whether they remain Muslims or not. So this is the fundamental legal and constitutional importance. That is why it has been clear. But the other aspect, which in a way is more important, that has been overlooked. And what is that? This institution of prophethood and the institution of the messengerhood of Allah not only came to an end in the person of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also they reached the climax, completion, zenith. This completion, that is the more important aspect. If something is continuing at a level, and then it comes to stop, it has some other connotation. Something is developing, evolving, going higher and high, and then reaching the top, it stops. It's something different. So prophethood and messengerhood of Allah reached their climax, their zenith, their highest level, and then ended. Not that they were continuing at some level, continuous level, and it came to an end. No. That is why we find words like itmam, ikmal, al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum. Your deen has been completed. Atmamtu alaykum ni'mati. And I have perfected upon you my blessing. This perfection, this itmam, this ikmal, and there's the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Innama bu'istu li'utammima makarim al-akhlaq. Ikmal takmeel, itmam tatmeem. Those of you who have some understanding of the Arabic language, these words have their own connotations. Ikmal, takmeel. Itmam, tatmeem. Wallahu yutimmu nurahu. Allah will definitely make His light perfect. All these verbs appear for Muhammad only, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there is a special purpose of the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which corresponds to the completion of the Deen and the completion and the perfection of the institutions of prophethood and messengerhood. Now the ayah which appears thrice in the Quran, without the difference of even a jot or a dot. هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. These words, note please, never appear in the Quran for anyone else except Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for him they appear thrice. In Surah At-Tawbah, ayat number 33, هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ. In Surah As-Saff, ayat number 9, هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْمُشْرِكُونَ. No difference. For the third time in Surah Al-Fath, the major part of the ayah is the same. هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. In the end, وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا. But the main ayah is the same. So it's very important to note that the purpose of advent of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was surely inzar, surely tabshir, surely tabligh. All these were basic functions, basic purposes, which he shared with all the prophets and all the messengers of Allah. But there was a special purpose, clearly defined. It is He, that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has sent His messenger, that is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, with two things. Bil huda, with the guidance, the total guidance, that is the book, Allah, book, Quran. But not only Quran. He has been given anything, one thing more. وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ, and the just social order, the just, balanced politico-socio-economic system, whole system of life, which is true, which is based on justice, fair play, equity. That is the second thing that he gave. Note please, two things. هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ. It is He who has sent His messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, with two things. With al-huda, the guidance, the final guidance, the total guidance. As Iqbal says, now insan ra peyame akhirin hamilehu rahmatul lil alamin. The last message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the mankind. But not only that book, it's very important to note. Is the Deen-e-Haq separate from book? It's a question of grammar. When two things are joined with waw, this is waw al-ataf. So this is the rule of the Arabic grammar. Ma'tuf and ma'tuf alayh. They are two separate, distinct entities. Can we apply this rule here? Is the book of Allah the guidance and the deen of Allah, Deen-e-Haq, two separate things? Brother Tariq is saying no. I say yes. Why? Deen comes into existence when you add to the book of Allah the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Without sunnah, it is not deen. The most conspicuous example, Quran says, Aqimus salah, Aqimus salah, Aqimus salah. You can't establish salah unless you add the sunnah. Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. You have to pray as you see me to pray. There is mention of ruku, there is mention of sajda, there is mention of qiyam. But how are they going to be joined together into one rak'ah? What will be the sequence? One ruku in every rakat, but two sajdas. Why? Why not one sajda? No. Aqimus salah, you add to it the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now it is the system of salah. So the guidance, basic guidance, theoretical guidance, that is the book. But the practical implementation, this guidance takes the form of a whole system of life. When you have added sunnah to it, then now it becomes, So actually they are two different things, not one. Mughayrat. Bain al-ma'tuf wal-ma'tuf alayh. Now, what for have we sent him with this deen? Only to preach? Or to teach? Or to write some thesis? Some books? Get some PhDs from so many universities? What for? لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ, so that he should establish it, make it supreme over the whole of the system of life. Now that was the special purpose of the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unless you understand this difference, basic difference between the purpose of the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the general purpose of the advent of all the prophets and messengers, you can't understand the seerah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because there's a lot of difference between a missionary work and a revolutionary work.